Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you're watching this podcast. This is the 80/20 Performance Podcast by me, Matthew Lambert, Regional ANC Sales Director for Middle East Salesforce. Now, the podcast is very simple. It's looking at the top performers across our customers, our partners, our employees, and the students that join our ecosystem. So watch along with me and let's see where we go. And I'm delighted today to be joined by Valbona from 20Three Digital. Valbona, welcome.
Thank you so much, Matthew, for having me today. It's an honor to be here with you, honestly. I couldn't wait.
Well, I'm delighted to have you join me today because we work together at Salesforce, right? So you were in our marketing team and you were the first person on the ground here in Dubai, correct?
Yes, I remember like when we didn't even have this office. So I don't know if you remember the quarter. I was going there by myself. Yes. So it was really interesting. I saw Salesforce like growing in the region, and for me it's just like a fantastic journey that you guys all are facing, and I'm glad to be here nowadays as a partner and to be able to support the growth of Salesforce in the region. So yeah.
Excellent, excellent. So when you came here and you were that first employee, what did that actually feel like? So, and to the students and the new people that want to join Salesforce, what did that look like when you're starting out in a new territory and starting fresh?
Well, it felt like I was working for a startup, but at the end of the day, it's a multi-billion-dollar company, right? With an amazing background and like marketing team and everything else. But here in the region, I was by myself.
Right.
So I was exposed to all the customers, all the partners, and everyone would come here and travel. Do you remember people would come?
That's right, yeah.
I would be their point of contact. So for me, it was amazing because I felt like, at the time, of course, it felt a bit overwhelming.
Yes.
But right now I understand there was a super nice trampoline for me, you know, because I got the chance to meet thousands of amazing people. So like, nowadays, my, you know, like network is quite.
Yeah. Amazing, amazing. And so tell me how you went from Salesforce to starting your own agency and now partner.
I'm originally from Albania, but I come from Milan where I studied marketing.
Right.
Marketing has always been a dream of mine, you know, like being creative, coming up with a strategy and putting that into place and see then something going from small to big.
Yes.
So like, when I started to work at Salesforce in marketing, it was amazing, you know, like, because I went from events to customer marketing and then here in the region, digital marketing. And you know how it is. In marketing, you have the opportunity usually to work for different things rather than just being focused on one. So that gave me the chance to have a 360 view about marketing and working close to our customer. I also understood how they would do their own marketing, you know. And I thought, well, I think I can do more, you know, like I don't know if it's just me, I don't know if I have ADHD, I don't know what it is, but I thought, let's try and open my own marketing agency, you know, because I think I can do more, you know, I can do from the strategy to build their own like plan for the year, to handle the social, etc., etc. In the meantime, I opened my Instagram. So when I moved to Dubai, I started to do a bit of like influencing, and that ended up going really well because now I have like nearly 400,000 followers on Instagram and 300 and something thousand on TikTok.
Yes.
So I was like, wow.
Phenomenal. Yeah. Phenomenal. Yeah.
I was like, well, that's a proof that I can do this, you know, like it's a living proof and it's me. So people started to reach out to me and they wanted my support and they needed my help. So I'm like, the agency is the perfect choice, right? So I decided to, when I was actually turning 30, so 1 year and a half ago, by the way, it was always a dream of mine, by 30 to have my own company.
Good.
Always. I've never seen myself working for corporate for
no.
So I decided to launch 20Three Media. So we start as a marketing agency. So we're doing everything with them, from social media to, as I said, strategy, etc., content creation. But then we reached a point where the customer will rely to us because of my Salesforce background about technology. So they will come to us and ask about what do you think we should do in terms of marketing automation or website or CRM, etc. So I would end up being a consultant to them, you know. Then I'm like, okay, that's great, but I started to sell a bit of sales.
Exactly. And let me just pause you there. So there was two things that applied. So you've got your real life experience of marketing. And let's be honest, everyone in the ecosystem wants marketing and marketing expertise, which you were providing, right? Both internally and then externally. But then the extension of that is then the customer is now starting to talk to you about, well, what does that mean in terms of the digital transformation? How can this actually work? How can the technology help me get better? Correct? And then they start coming to you. Now, how do you feel then? Because you've never been a technology expert, right? So you've been a marketeer, a very strong marketeer. So how do you then do that change?
Quite interesting because, as you know, we also support some partner in the region with their marketing as well. So going from being the marketeer to the technology expert was at the beginning something that, let's not lie, right? When it's something new that you don't know, you feel like it's something that scares you, right? But then I started to do it, and people would come to me because they thought that I was the expert. And whenever I was consulting them, I realized that I knew a lot about it.
You are the expert.
So I'm like, I'm actually the expert, especially when it comes to the marketing, side of it. I was like talking to CMOs and recommending them on the best automation that was not only at that time Salesforce, but it could be like Sprout, it could be like any other technology, So I was Shopify, like Wix, any other e-commerce platform. So I was like, well, I know a lot more than I thought, that was the beginning of everything. But then how do you take that and make it into like a proper, let's say, partner? Well, today I'm glad to announce that we've been merging two companies. So 20Three, under the umbrella of 20Three, we have now part of us, Nestosh. There is a partner that has been in the region for 12 years. They have a lot of logos in the US, Canada, and in this region, now they are merging with us. We are becoming 20Three Digital, as you just mentioned.
20Three Digital.
Yes.
Sounds good.
So we're taking their 12 years experience in Salesforce, in the technical background, and our 10 plus year experience in marketing, and we are launching 20Three Digital. So this is our big...
Well, congratulations. That's amazing. And so that gives you that excellent, that piece of history, the expertise, the certification, the understanding of the different cloud, the 360, etc., with your marketing perfection.
Yes, we have around 120 employees now. So they're all like a Salesforce developer, from marketing to sales to CRM, MuleSoft. We have a lot of logos. So I think now we have a full package to be able to offer to customer to help them, support them with their digital transformation.
That's unbelievable. Well done. Congratulations. You have this amazing marketing story, okay? You've actually delivered it, which is congratulations to you. You've now done this merger, so you have the backing of the Salesforce expertise. So Salesforce expertise and the marketing, perfect match. How do you now scale that using Salesforce in the region?
So the most important thing for us is to align with the Salesforce team in the region. So we sit down with them quite often and we work on a strategy. So from awareness to ABM accounts, to organizing the different events, to organizing anything that we could possibly want to do, like to get more customer on board.
Sure. So you'll be looking at everything from the sort of activities around driving new business, pipeline generation, etc.
The marketing activation to the sales.
Absolutely. And you're actually, we can't talk about it on TV now because it's coming out soon, but you've been working on a video demonstration, right? Which is going to be real life, super exciting, very different for us, and will be hopefully wow moments for,
So our main goal is to be out there more with the, in a creative way.
Sure.
So what we want to do is create more video content that explain to people in simple shoots, what the digital transformation is. Because nowadays there are a lot of software out there, there are a lot of technology, but do people really understand what we are talking about? Do people understand what do we do? So the easiest way to do it is a 1-minute video where you explain to people how simple your life would be if you use our software, right? Our technology. So this is what I think will differentiate us from the other. The fact that, as I keep repeating, but we come from marketing background, so we quite know how to do marketing.
Exactly.
Together.
The storytelling element is storytelling, and actually it's people, isn't it? When I speak to a lot of people, I say this, but we've got the best technology, Salesforce, #1 CRM globally. Brilliant. Got an amazing ecosystem, but if you don't bring the people on the journey with you and help them to understand what we could do, and then actually bring them on the journey if they are then utilizing the software, that's really the cream.
Educating. We know that you are the expert on this, right? Because we all know that you go to many universities and you're trying to educate people in the region about Salesforce. And you're doing it from the young age. Sometimes you find that there are some company that need that bit of education, and that's where it comes our consultancy part, because sometimes people don't know that they need that thing because they don't even know they exist.
Absolutely.
Maybe some people, they say to us after we do some demo, I didn't know this would be that possible and that easy to do, that would save me a lot of time, So the ideal thing is always like to be as simple as possible, you know, like to deliver a message in few words and like make it child-proof, I say all the time, you know, if you try to send something to someone or like to help someone to understand something, just make it like child-proof.
Yes.
And the job is done.
Yes. I remember you just reminded me of a saying that one of my tutors used to say at university, which was, keep it simple, stupid, kiss, was the motto. And it is true, isn't it? Keep it very, very simple. And I also think, just thinking about that, the amount of times that you, like you said, when you demonstrate something to a customer, they go, wow, that will solve that problem. And I then think when I'm in that moment, I go, oh my, why couldn't we just replicate that across everywhere? But of course, people's hearts and minds and attentions in different places, different times. And as a curveball thought, really, how do you think you could maneuver that for, how could 20Three Media help to Salesforce in that space?
As I said, I think content creation will be the differentiator here. And I'm saying this because it's something that helped me in my business, in the media side. I was doing content to explain to people what I was doing, and they would reach out to me automatically.
That's right.
You know? Same thing I want to do on the digital side, we want to do. So what we want to do is, like, as I said, explain the journey in few simple steps throughout content creation. Yes. So the more awareness you put out there, the more you educate people towards the product or the service that you're offering, the more people will come to you directly.
So Valbona, 20Three Digital, how are you going to differentiate yourself in the future?
Pretty simple. So I'll tell you a funny story, you know, like everyone can potentially buy a Ferrari, right? So not everyone will be driving it as Hamilton is doing nowadays, right? So
Sixth at the weekend, yes. Topical, yeah.
So the idea of 20Three Digital is to leverage the expertise that we have in marketing and the technical background that we have, and to put in place like the best strategy for our customer when it comes to using the technology.
Right.
What I'm saying is that everyone can buy a technology, right?
Yeah.
And there are men out there. But what do you do with this technology? That's the
secret sauce. Oh, the secret sauce of 20Three, yes, yeah.
So our secret sauce is like take all the ingredients, create a strategy, and build it on top of the...
Yeah.
This is what I would say.
So going on to that point, and that's something that is raised all the time. In fact, I've been interviewing partners and customers, and they will always say to me that it's the delivery, you know, the actual human element of the delivery is the most crucial part. So amazing technology, and we've already covered this, but amazing technology, Salesforce, number one. Amazing partner, knowing lots of things around that ecosystem for that customer, but it's actually blending the two together with the people.
Yes, 100%, yeah. Of course, building a team.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me, what does that team look like for you in the future? You've merged together. You've got a great story. What does that look like? What would that look like in the future for this region?
Yeah, so we're planning to bring many more people in the region here on the ground.
Right.
For sure, and we are hiring a lot of like architect and consultant be with us in the ground. We already have few of them, but of course, like we're planning to make bigger investments.
So does that mean that I'll actually see you in an appointment with me and my sales team when we go out see a customer?
Yes.
Fantastic.
But like I heard the podcast the other day that was talking about what does a CEO really do?
Yeah.
And it was funny because I felt like, oh my God, you know, everyone thinks it's like cool job, you know, that's not really. Like the job that you do is literally HR. Yeah. So I spend my day on hiring people and then evaluating, oh, is this what they're doing correct? Yes or no? And then after 6 months, you maybe realize that, well, this wasn't really what you're supposed to do because you hire someone that is better than them. And that's when you realize, this person that was supposed to do this thing, you know? So it's like, again, you know, it's going to take you like...
It's totally evolving all the time.
Yeah.
And this goes back to the Pareto law methodology, right? I use this methodology all the way through my career, which is I look at the sales team, and I'm running sales teams for 10 plus years, 20 years. You look at the sales team and you have the Pareto, the top 20%. Tend to be the best performers, right? So if you have a team of 10, the top 2 are generating most of the results for the team. And the theory is always like, take your best salesperson, make them the leader. That often doesn't work because they're really great salespeople because they understand the technology, they understand the customer's problem and the pain points, they can add value. And then you have the rest of the team, and the team within the middle there, they're performing and can get better. Yeah. And then you have the low performers that you try and raise up through to make them the top 20%. And that methodologies are being applied across multiple things. Think of your shopping In your car, you have 100 items, yeah, but you always have those 20 items you buy every single week. Think of it like that. And you can apply it to pretty much everything. So Alfredo said about it being about Italian wealth from its population, but it can be about a sales team. It can be about a grouping of products. It can be about people. It could be about society.
Training.
Yeah, it could be about training, exactly that. So actually, talking of training, you know the work that we do with the universities, etc., and where we're educating the university graduates of the future. They're taking internships with our partners, etc.
Come with you.
You did. We actually did Rochester together and Sharjah, I believe, together as well. Yes. And so is that something that you'll want to do with your business now? Because now you're in the perfect driving seat for
I
this.
would love to, 100%, yeah. And one of my biggest dream actually is not even just that, will be to one day go back to Albania, if possible, open a foundation and educate people on the Salesforce. So, I mean, I'm originally from Albania, as I was saying, and I think for me it's really important to give people the opportunity,
100%.
So, not only here in the region, I will be coming with you to the university from now on, but
Well, yeah, you can be my partner in crime again, can't you?
I would love to, It's something that I strongly believe, and there is a strong need for that.
There is a need.
Yeah.
There is a need. So IDC did a report that basically we have more jobs, that we are creating more jobs within the Salesforce ecosystem globally than there are physical people to fill those roles. And if you think about Salesforce today, we have open headcount for Saudi Arabia, for here within Salesforce. So I always say to the students and say there's 3 places for jobs. It's 1 in Salesforce, which we now have real life jobs. 2, in the region, I should say. 2, it's the partners. We have 300 partners in the region. Partners such as yourself, big names, big GSIs like PwC, Accenture, but also small startups as well. So the student could go into any sort of home. And then obviously the customers. We have nearly 2,000 customers in this region, and they're looking for Salesforce trained recruits. So when I talk to the universities, I ask them to make sure their CV's up to date. Their cover letter has to be very specifically about how they can add value. But the most important thing is go on to Trailhead, which is our online university, free of charge, and they can start to learn. And then when they come for an interview with you, for an internship or for a full-time job, you can see that they've learned what they've learned on Trailhead, and they can take that knowledge that they've learned from their private email into your work email address, and off they go.
100%.
And you saw that firsthand. You were actually with me in the universities. You saw firsthand how it worked.
And actually, I know few people that were recruited from other partners or customers doing pretty well now, And that's a brilliant chance, because I remember when I finished university, I didn't get that type of opportunity.
Yeah.
Right. So it's so simple, and Trailhead is like for free. Let's say, the certification only costs.
Correct. Well, the certification is between $200 and $400, and what I do is if the student makes the effort to learn, and then the partner takes them on for an internship and wants to take them on, I will give them that voucher so that student can take the exam. So that student suddenly got something that is quite unique to them, and it's a globally recognized exam. So they could go anywhere in the world into the Salesforce ecosystem and get a job much quicker than their peers. That's the crucial difference.
Yeah, and that could help people's life, And can anyone do it, even if they don't finish a university?
Absolutely. The idea of this was very simply, an alumni came from one of our partners, said, "Oh, would you talk at my university?" That was 3 years ago. We now have 20 universities, and I have partners connected to each of those universities to help me deliver the Salesforce message. Now, the reality is those students want an internship, so they come and have an internship, and then we give them the exam if they're good. But the point is, they can learn in their own time. So maybe it's not right for them at that moment. Maybe they're so focused on their studies they can't think about something else. Absolutely fine. But there's an interest there, and they can learn whenever they want to. It's gamification, it's fun, they can do it on their mobile. It's how we learn at Salesforce ourselves. So when we have 3 new releases of software every year, you remember it?
Yeah, I was a ranger.
Yeah, exactly, a ranger, same here. So the point is you're learning all the time. It's how we learn, as Salesforce employees. So
quite simple, yeah.
Exactly. And so they are the future, these students.
100%, yeah. Without them knowing how to use the technology, it will be like...
And it's giving back, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's giving back. It's like you said about you will go back to your home country.
Yeah.
It's about giving back through your career, doing good on the way through.
Yeah. Like opening someone's eyes, on something that maybe they didn't even know existed. They just need a phone, laptop, and they can change their life.
Yeah.
So it's pretty simple, like that really.
Indeed. So what does the future look like for Valbona and 20Three Digital? What does it look like?
We will love to expand, of course,
Right.
the Middle East, Saudis,
Yes.
and inshallah, how they say. And hopefully we just want to keep growing, build awareness, build a strong team. I don't have a specific number or target in my mind. I just know that usually when we do things, we do it right.
Absolutely.
And we want to put 100% of our effort, and we want to try and show to the market right now who we are, why are we different, and yeah, I mean, you will see us a lot more. And yeah, that's it. This is what we want to do. It's just a commitment, we're just committed to bring excellence to the market. That's it.
Valbona, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank
for
you.
being
Take care.
here. Thanks.
So that's a wrap. Another great episode today on the 80/20 podcast. I'm delighted I get to speak to these amazing, amazing professionals. Stay tuned for the next episode and we'll look to see you soon. Thank you.